Live from inside Rex Hardiker Oval, Sawtell, New South Wales. This is the Northern Conference Finals in the 2018 Country Championships, proudly sponsored by SEL World Australia, Victor Sports and Bar TV Sports. This telecast has been brought to you live courtesy of Bar TV via the crlnsw.com.au website. And this telecast is also being streamed through the Bar TV and CRL social media platforms. And it's a very good morning to you here from Sawtell. I'm Dwayne Neville. We're as far north as Tweed, as far south as the Central Coast, as far inland as Scone and Tamworth. The Northern Conference Finals has brought us here to Sawtell. With the 5 conference teams, 4 of them have been represented in today's finals. With bragging rights and a seat in the final against the Southern Conference representatives on the line, they'll be looking to make the most of this opportunity to move forward into next week's finals. We're about to get kicked off in the first game of the ladies' tag between the Greater Northern Tigers and the Central Coast Roosters. Let's give you the tale of the tape between the two teams. For the Greater Northern Tigers, the fullback is Jordan McKenzie, and she's partnered in the wings by Hope Martin and Alice Walsh. And in the centres, we have Shay Pemberton and Jessie Baker. In the halves, they're paired together with Amy Barraclough and Sophie Casson. And in the props, we have Jessie Brown, Vicky Human, and the lock the scrum is in the hooking role is Cody Ryan. And your second rows there are Bronnie Harris and Kate McCulloch. And Dana Porter, I dare say, is the lock. And then we also, to complete the lineup, we have Camilla Clydesdale, Deborah McGrady and Olivia Turner, and they are coached by Mick Schmidl and Damien Allen. For the Central Coast Roosters, who are playing their 3rd game of the tournament, fullback there is we've got Holly Buchanan, and she's partnered in the wings by Ashley Russell and Rachel Dobby. In the centres there we have Sean George and Stacey Markham. In the halves we have Sarah Dimmick, and in the halves there we have Stephanie Sharp, who was the captain. In the props there we have Shannon Higgins, Kristen Kessler, and in the hooking role is Tia Goodhand. And in the second rows we have Alea Smith and Claudia Symington. And to lock the scrum is Jocelyn Keller. And to complete the lineup we have Alicia Atkins and Brittany Starr, and they are coached by Jeff Cornelius. As we're just about to get underway here at Sawtell, it is 25-minute halves each way in the ladies' tag, and in the in the under 23s we have 40-minute halves. It's about 22 degrees today, so it's a little bit warmer than it has been in the previous week here in the mid-north coast, far north coast region. Central Coast Tigers are coming off the week off. They had a great win against the Northern Rivers in Lismore about 2 weeks ago, 22-0. And Central Coast, they're playing their 3rd match of the tournament, getting up 18-6 over of the mid-north coast in Maxville and 20-6 against Maitland. Referees for this one taking the assignment is Kurt Grogan, and he's assisted by Nick Weiler and Leighton Blissett. Central Coast to kick things off, running right to left here in Sawtell. And we're just about to get underway here. And the Northern Conference Finals is just about to get underway. Kirk Grogan blows whistle, and we're about to get things kicked off here. and we're away. Nicely taken there by Central Coast, and she was looking to get a quick start there for Central Coast, about 25 metres inside their own half of field. Players to watch in this game, just as was the case in Lismore, the player to watch here for the Central Coast Tigers is and I think, hang on, it's getting out now to Sian George, but she's brought there in her tracks. Away it goes now to Holly Buchanan, to Stephanie Sharp. And stopped in her tracks there, that was Kristen Kessler. They're playing right side of field, nice little chip there by Central Coast, but it was well diffused there by the Greater Northern Tigers. And just as I was about to say before we had a big plane fly over, I was talking about Sophie Casson. She had an impressive game in Lismore, scoring an 80-metre try to definitely get Greater Northern Tigers on their way. She's a two-time representative, and she's the leading try scorer in the Group 21 competition. In just 2 games, she scored 5 tries, and 4 of those 5 coming against Singleton. She is definitely the player to watch, and as well as Jessie Baker, who scored 2 tries herself in Lismore, and one of them was absolutely one of the freakish kicks you'll ever see, like just diverting in and making the most of it and getting I think they got the first try in that game. And for the Central Coast, the player that caught my eye with Holly Buchanan, she's an Entrance Tigers representative. She's scored a try for line break against Newcastle. She's also the equal try scorer in her local leagues. She's also kicked 3 goals for, against North Coast. So that was she's also kicked 27 goals and scored 8 tries in her local competition. And in the 2016 season, 18 tries, followed by 89 goals, equating to 250 points. So keep an eye out for those 2 players. As we get back to action here, Greater Northern Tigers have a 10 metres on their own line. Nicely brought in the tracks there, that was Jordan McKenzie. Right side field, I think that one is Amy Barraclough. And I think she's told to replay that one. Playing down the commentary side of field. And she's held there in her tracks. That was Jessie Baker, who I was mentioning before. Well, it goes 30 metres on the own line. That was Alice Walsh. I think it's 5th and last tackle, kicked inside the 30-metre line. I think that's going to be greeted there by Rachel Dobby, but not quite getting to it. She's stopped in her tracks there by Deborah McGrady. Central Coast will have this inside the Greater Northern half. About 4 phases left in their set. Nicely run there, but stopped on the tracks about 40 metres out from the Greater Northern Tigers line. Nice pass. Couldn't quite get hands on it. That was Kristen Keller. Could not quite get the hands on it for that one. So we're here today in Sawtell, which is just 5 minutes down the road from Coffs Harbour. Just south of the airport. And you probably could hear it on your screen, some big planes flying over. And that was Vicky Human. And that was Walsh. Just on the 50-metre line, played there by Bronnie Harris. Jordan McKenzie looking for work up the centre there. Nice kick there by Amy Barraclough. She was kicking very impressively in the game against Northern Rivers and Lismore the other week. 20-metre line, on the 20-metre line there for the Central Coast. So this will be with this format, as this is a cut, win and move forward, lose is knocked out style competition. It's interesting to see if the extra week off will play an advantage, or will it be an extra advantage to have 3 games in? And she's only got 1 to beat. She's got to play on the right side, but that was well defended there by Jordan McKenzie. It was 1-on-1. She had to play on the right side. I dare say she was unawares. Cut out pass. That's Ashley Russell stopped in her tracks. From dummy half, it goes to Kristen Keller. Kick over the top. It'll be meted and greeted there by, I think, Hope Martin. And she stopped there just short of the try line. And oh dear. And they'll get the penalty, Greater Northern Tigers. They'll have that 10 metres off their own line. And of course, in the second game today, in the Northern Conference Finals, we have under 23s game between North Coast versus the Northern Rivers. North Coast had quite the impressive game against Newcastle. They had to get to play 2 games to get in. They got in just at the end against Central Coast, whilst Northern Rivers, they're the one that's enjoyed the bye. They defeated the Greater Northern Tigers to progress in this one. Stopped in the tracks there. That was Jessie Brown. On the commentary side of field, Alice Walsh. Sorry, that's Jessie Baker. She just managed to get a hand on it. Free phases left in this set. Cut out pass. That's Jordan McKenzie. 40 metres out from their own line. Ball goes. Holly Buchanan had eyes for it, but the bounce didn't favour, and she'll have this 10 metres on their own side. Oh, what a step and a run, getting in probably about another 10 metres than what she most likely planned. Nice pass up the centre. That's I think it's Alicia Atkins. Can't quite see from here. Third phase of play, so I think that was Alicia Atkins with it now. And incorrect play of the ball, I dare say. Oh no, it's our 5th and last. Valuable metres to be made here for Greater Northern Tigers. They're only 30 metres out with a full set of 6 in play. And I think this is Sophie Casson coming on now, who I mentioned at the top there. Interesting that she's wasn't starting. Anyway, they'll be looking to use her prowess to get but Jordan McKenzie to go herself. Right side of field, that's Amy Barraclough. And that'll be a penalty, Greater Northern Tigers, 15 metres out from the Central Coast line. And we're about 5 or 6 minutes into this one. We want to again thank our sponsors, SEL World Australia and Victor Sports, for getting on board. Of course, the winner of this one, they'll play the best of the Southern Conference in next week's grand final. Now, could they be on the 2 here? Points are a premium with these shorter halves at 25 minutes. Yeah, she is going the 2. So, Greater Northern Tigers will be looking to get first dibs here to get an early 2-0 lead. And here we go. And nice kick there by Amy Barraclough. Thus making
First points in the league track semi-final against Greater Northern number 6, Amy Barraclough. Score is now 2-0.
Amy Barraclough. Northern Tigers.
Just remind all spectators to clean a hot and cold food and drink over in the canteen area.
Dwayne Neville here for Bar TV here in Sawtell for the 2018 Country Championships in the ladies tag and under 23s in the Northern Conference Final. Ball stuffed in the tracks there, Greater Northern to have it, and I think that one's Kate McCulloch. Right. Nicely defended there by Claudia Symington. This is Sophie Casson. trying to go left and then right, but she stopped in her tracks. This is the third phase. And I think that's forward pass there, and that's going to be brought, and so Central Coast will have an opportunity to get the first try. They're going to do it within 25 metres away from the Greater Northern Tigers line. Away it goes now for Jocelyn Keller. On the commentary side of field, that is Holly Buchanan passing it out to Stephanie Sharp, the captain. They're, I think, 15 metres away from the Greater Northern Tigers line. Away it goes now. This is Holly Buchanan. I think she's got this one over. Not quite. She has got it over. And the player to watch for the Central Coast will get the first try for the Central Coast Roosters. That was Holly Buchanan. 4 points to 2 now, Central Coast over the Greater Northern Tigers. Which comes at really no surprise when I mentioned her profile in her local competition for the Entrance Tigers. Also make mention that in the 2015 version of the competition in the Central Coast Rugby League, she scored 12 tries and 45 goals, so 138 points. So I think she'll be lining this one up, and I dare say she'll know how to kick them. I mean, you don't kick 89 goals in one season without knowing how to kick from anywhere on the field. Holly Buchanan lines this one up about 10 metres inside of the sideline. What a beautiful kick straight over the black dots. And thus now makes it 6 points to 2. Central Coast over the Greater Northern Tigers. Greater Northern Tigers will be looking to get this one back. Amy Barraclough gets things back started again. Nicely diffused there. Oh, nice run. She beats one. Couldn't quite beat the second. 30 metres out from the side. Oh, what a quick defence there from Cody Ryan. From Inverell. And there was the try score again, Holly Buchanan. Way it goes down to the airport side of field. 6 points to 2 Central Coast if you're just joining us in front of Greater Northern Tigers. Pass looks slightly forward, and I think that's going to be picked up there by Kirk Grogan. Greater Northern Tigers will have this one inside. Or just on the halfway line. Just inside in the Central Coast half of the field. Greater Northern Tigers, they know that time is of the essence in this one. And while 6 points to 2 is hardly the be-all, end-all, they know that the finals beckons for the winner. As I mentioned at the top of the broadcast too, that every point of the compass is basically represented today here in Sawtell. Even the I dare say the home team, the Mid-North Coast, their Group 3 guys who were based in Port Macquarie, Taree, they would have had to travel 2 or 3 hours. I know these two teams out here, I think rumour had it they travelled as far as 8 hours, the Greater Northern Tigers, in the Greater Northern Tigers perspective. That's such a big wide area to cover. I know myself, I had travelled 3 hours to get here today. Down from Byron. Inside the 20 metres, inside their own 20 there, Central Coast. Nice little, that's Holly Buchanan again. It's not too often she doesn't have her hands on the ball for good reason. Very sharp on her feet. That was Atkins, on the commentary side of field. Just on the Greater Northern Tigers 40 metre line. Jordan McKenzie will be wanting to get this chase before Stephanie Sharp gets to her. And I think she's just stopped in her tracks right on their own line. I want to get some valuable meters out of this one. I hope you're enjoying the coverage here on Bar TV Sports. It's great to have this initiative, to have a live stream of this tournament. As I made mention, a lot of travel involved for everyone involved today for the finals. And it makes it just that little bit easier for all these players' inner circles to get involved and be able to watch this through YouTube and CRL. Nice, that was a charge hand there by Central Coast. It's interesting to see what Kurt Grogan calls this one. And also just a fun fact I was just thinking about when I was on the way down here, that in this particular game, there's in some shape or form that all 5 conferences of the Northern Conference has actually got some kind of representative involved. So of course, you've got the Greater Northern Tigers and Central Coast out in the field. Today we're in Sawtell, which is mid-North Coast based. Bar TV are Newcastle based, and I suppose I've got Northern Rivers covered coming from Byron. So it's great. I don't think that's happened in any of the tournaments happening this year. So that just occurred to me on the drive down here. Away it goes now. I think that was Sophie Casson that was stopped. Away it goes from that 30 metres out from their own line. Nicely diffused there. I think that was Stacey Markham. And this is Baker. Nice pass there. She's going to be timed with the sideline. She'll be looking to bring it in, but that was Alice Walsh. That'll be the 3rd tackle. Baker to play from dummy half. Cut out past the Barraclough. That one is Jessie Brown. 5th and last of our 35 metres inside Greater Northern Hard for field. Nice bomb. Holly Buchanan will defuse it. She's got assistance on the left, but she'll go herself. Nicely stopped there by Jessie Baker. That was good hand to play it. And that was their pass, but it couldn't quite. That was Stacey Markham that passed, but it passed it before, and that was, I think, Shannon Higgins who couldn't quite get the hands on it. So Greater Northern Tigers will have this one back. Cody Ryan to play from dummy half. This is Casson. Little dummy. Beats 1, beats 2, beats 3. She was almost away then. She did a similar play like that in Lismore when I called her game 2 weeks ago. She did it from, I was mentioned at the top of the broadcast, from 80 metres out. She beat like 3 players from deep inside their own half. She might do it again here, but not quite. She could have ran all the way to Byron Bay and they still wouldn't have chased it. It was that impressive. Away goes. This is Jessie Brown. Looking for the basketball style pass. Couldn't quite get there. This is the 4th phase. Nice run up the middle there. I think that was Ronnie Harris. Barraclough will send this one downtown. And away she goes. Not quite there. That was Ashley Russell, who herself has got a great pedigree of tries in her local competition. Nice run up the middle, but stopped in the tracks there. That was nicely dispersed there by Cody Ryan. 20 metres out from the Central Coast line. This is Sean George. They'll have this one inside their own field. Nice run up the centre there by Tia Goodhand. 5th and last now. They'll be looking to send this one deep. It's going to be met there by, I think that's Hope Martin that's diffused it for Dungawayne. I hope everyone out in the New England area and the Group 4 and Group 21 areas as well are enjoying this coverage on Bar TV as well as the Central Coast. Let us know where you're watching from. This is, as I said before, this is well represented today from the Northern Conference in every facet. It's what we want to see. Up the centre there. And that was, I think, Alice Walsh. Casson to play deep in centre, but that's third inside the 30 metre half a field. There's 2 on 1 there for Greater Northern. They get there quick enough, but they won't quite get there. Kick didn't really want them where they wanted it. It was kind of like a Cooper Cronk kick when he was against the Broncos last night when I think it was Latrell Mitchell scored that try, Cooper Cronk just kicked it and just diverted across the attacking players. It couldn't quite replicate in this occasion. 6 points to 2, Central Coast over the Greater Northern Tigers here in Sawtell. And I think that was a penalty before, so Holly Buchanan kicking it down. They'll get about 30 metres off the Greater Northern Tigers line. That was nice of the views there by, I think that was Jesse Baker. Oh, this is the third phase. I think that was Jocelyn Keller, just defused there. Away it goes now for Stephanie Sharp, looking for the cutout pass. Instead it fell into the hands of Stacey Markham. Fourth phase of play. This is going to be Holly Buchanan. She couldn't quite get the double. Away it goes out the centre. That is Jocelyn Keller. I think she's gone up the centre. What did they call it? I think they called it. No, I think the tags came off it just before the stripe. And Greater Northern Tigers will have it 10 metres out from their own line. Casson gets it out to Barraclough. Away on the airport side of field. And this inside, 20 metres inside their own half of field. Casson the play from dummy. No. He's been told to play that again. Casson gets it away now. I think that's Jordan McKenzie. 35 metres out. This is Casson again. Always looking for work. Play on the commentary side of the field. Barraclough kicks it down. It's going to be met there by Ashley Russell. And couldn't quite beat the likes of Deanne Porter and Alice Walsh. 40 metres away from the Greater Northern Tigers line. The gap was there for Sian George. Couldn't quite get through. This is Stephanie Sharp. Away it goes now to Claudia Simican. And this is Alicia Atkins. Fourth tackle, 30 metres out from the Greater Northern Tigers line. Well dispersed there by Cass, and this is the fifth and last. Goes out for Stephanie Sharp. Opting to take the grubber. I'm not sure if that was play day, and it is. And I think that's going to be Stephanie Sharp getting over. I don't know what the referee's called here. It was 6 to go. It was a restart. So they'll have another set of 6 anyway to try and increase their lead by 2 tries. That's Stacey Markham. Away it goes now. That is... Oh, couldn't quite make out the number from here. That's Buchanan. Wants to try and double her lead. Away it goes now to Stephanie Sharp. Away it goes now to Stephanie Markham. Can it go south? Not quite. And I think that's going to be fumbled. No. It's fifth and last. They're told to replay it again. This is George. Grubber. Well stopped there by Jordan McKenzie. And she'll have it on her own try line. Barraclough to play it deep inside their own half of field. And to just give you a bit of insight about how the Central Coast go in their local leagues, their minor premiers from last year was the Entrance with a 17-1 record. And the major premiers were actually Terrigal, who won it from second, who won against the Entrance 26-6. The current leaders at the moment of the Entrance, they have well, they're currently tied with Anira. Hopefully I got that right. They're co-leaders with both a 6-0 record. The Entrance, though, have a 250 points differential in their competition. So I think we've got about 6 minutes, I dare say, left in the first half. 6 points to 2 to Central Coast. They'll be looking to get this 40 metres out from their own line. And I actually think that's actually the end of the half. So It just actually went that quick. That's actually half time here at Sawtell. Central Coast have the slender lead, being 6 points to 2 over the Greater Northern Tigers here in Sawtell. Hope you enjoyed the coverage here on Bar TV. I'm Dwayne Neville. We'll see you in about 5-10 minutes time for the second half. Hardiker Oval here in Sawtell for the Northern Conference final of the Country Rugby League Championships for 2018. Hope you enjoy the coverage here on Bar TV, wherever you may be watching. Let us know where you're all watching this coverage from. I know there'll be a big following today with 4 out of 5 conference teams in Northern Conference being represented. And just out of interest in the Southern Conference, the progress score in that game in Goulburn between the St George Illawarra Dragons Ret team and the GRS Tigers. The GRS Tigers are up 4-0 in the corresponding game. And it'd be interesting, could be the Battle of the Tigers next week. It'd be interesting if that was the case with how it would go with the jerseys. But anyway, we've still got to get through this one. Nice bounce there. That was nice. But it was the fifth and last. Wasn't played at, so it would have been nice if she could have actually got some space and ran with it back. But not to be. Holly Buchanan to play it. Nice little run. Oh, I think she stopped in her tracks there. That was Stacey Markham. Had players on her right side. That was played there by Kristen Kessler. Kristen Kessler from the dummy half. Now is Tia Goodhand. Nice pass there by Stephanie Sharp. Away it goes now to Shannon Higgins. Away it goes back to Kessler. 35 metres out from the Greater Northern Tigers line. They're playing the left side of field. And that was Sian George from the entrance. And they're taking the centre field. Oh dear, that might have been Steffi Baker, not quite. And that's going to be a penalty, Greater Northern Tigers. They had players on the right-hand side, Central Coast, to maybe do something to maybe double their lead, but not to be the case. They have given away the penalty for the Greater Northern Tigers. And up the middle there's Jessie Baker. Jessie Baker couldn't quite beat the second player. 20 metres off from their own line. Third phase of play. Looking to go on the airport side of field. Away it goes now to Barraclough. And couldn't quite beat the 3 players surrounding there. Dispersed on the third phase. I think that was Bronnie Harris. Fifth and last. Barraclough will be looking to kick it. Might be a little bit too deep. And I wouldn't say it was on the full. It might have been. No, not quite. Deep nevertheless, but it will be a 20-metre restart for the Central Coast. And with all this travel that's involved in today's game, because there is a lot of travel for everyone involved today, as I made mention, it'd be interesting how these players would cope with all this copious amount of travel. I know that the Greater Northern Tigers had Lismore, and then I've had to come here, and the winner would have travelling. And away it goes up the centre there. That's going to be Jocelyn Kessler. Nice pass, and here it is, Holly Buchanan. And it is a double for Holly Buchanan. And Kirk Rogan will point to the spots. And Holly Buchanan has doubled the lead for Central Coast. 10 points to 2. Central Coast there have now got themselves a nice handy lead. We're about 5 minutes in here in the second half. And I was making mention before about how people adapt with the travel. Central Coast who had their fair share of travels too. How they would adapt. I know for me personally, I had Parkway Drive's back catalogue playing on shuffle, and Had about 2 or 3 coffees. That's how I adapt with my travel down here today. Parkway Drive's new album's been getting well played in my stereo on the way here, and no doubt it will on the way back home tonight or this afternoon. And that is Holly Buchanan converting her own try, thus making it now 12 points to 2 for the Central Coast Roosters. And of course, we want to thank our sponsors, SEL World Australia, Invicta Sports, Bar TV, as well, getting on board on the YouTube, Facebook platforms, and of course, crlnsw.com.au website. Play gets restarted now. Central Coast, nice little handy lead now, 12 points to 2. They'll be looking to represent the Northern Conference, and that will be helped with the back of a penalty. You'd think one more try would certainly may send them on their way. And I can just see that we've got Hope Martin and Sophie Casson on the bench at the moment, and Jordan McKenzie, which is basically their spine. So I think they're looking to. I think the method is in the ladies' tag. It's kind of like an NFL kind of setup. You have your defence out, and then when that comes to the attack, they bring them on, just like they do in the NFL. Way there for Ashley Russell, dancing, toying with the sideline there. Just about 30 metres out from their own line. Sorry, the Tigers' line. Nice run up the middle there for Sarah Dimick from Wyong. Right, looking to go centre of field. This is Holly Buchanan. Nice little stepping run there from Kristen Kessler. Pass, there's about 4 on 2 there. If they can get it, the pass doesn't quite favour them. And the wing is still there on the 3. Could she get in the corner? No, I think she's been stopped in her tracks. Greater Northern Tigers, so we're about 8 minutes in here. Greater Northern Tigers will need to get a wriggle on if they want to progress into the big dance next week against the Southern Conference winner. Nice little darting run up the middle there. And just as I thought, I could see Sophie Casson and her 2 associates there, with Hope Martin, and I think that's Jessie Baker as well. They're actually, no, correct me, I'm wrong there. Jordan McKenzie and Hope Martin are still on the bench. Because let's face it, Greater Northern Tigers will need to, well, they certainly can't afford to let another one in now. And the Roosters have a perfect opportunity to really really make it out to a free try lead. A nice run up the middle there by Jocelyn Kelleher. This is Stephanie Sharp. Little fake pass. And could this... Oh, there was 2... They still might get it in the corner here. And I think they have. They certainly have. And this time it's Ashley Russell. This is Bronny Harris darting up the middle. Casson again. It's actually, this is Harris now. Sorry, that's Camilla Clydesdale. Yeah, so if you just joined the coverage here, Central Coast are up 16 points to 2. If you just joined us, we've been having a few power issues with the stream. Something that's a bit out of, well, I think it's a power issue here in Sawtell. I think it's rectified now, so hopefully it holds up for the rest of this match day. We certainly don't want you to miss anything that's happening out here in the Northern Conference Finals. And here is Aloya Smith. She's dispersed there by, I think that was Cody Ryan. Stephanie Sharp passes out to Elise Atkins, but I think that's going to be called for a pass. So yeah, so a bit of a power issue here at Sawtell. I think it's rectified now. So apologies if you missed any of the coverage. It is 16 points to 2 to the Central Coast. Cody Ryan played from dummy. Casson stopped in her tracks there by Alicia Atkins. Nice run there by Jessie Baker. 20 metres out from her own line. So about 10 minutes to go left in this one. Greater Northern Tigers, they're set up left side of field. It's Casson with the kick. I think that was touched there by Central Coast. Certainly wasn't knocked on. Nice little run up the middle there by Rachel Dobby. Rachel Dobby's away. No, she stopped. I think that was Casson that stopped her. This is Atkins. Atkins has it back. There's 2-on-1 there if they can get it out quick enough. And this is going to be Russell again. She got luck off the first time in the corner, and I think she's done it again. She had eyes for the corner, and it's paid dividends for her once more, and that's a double for her also. And now you'd think that Central Coast Roosters have booked themselves a place in the finals next weekend. 20 points to 2, Central Coast over the Greater Northern Tigers. We once again want to thank our sponsors, Esselia World Australia, Victor Sports, and Bar TV for getting on board into this one. And this is Holly Buchanan having this one right on the sideline. There's no breeze to contend with here. Very calm day here in Sawtell. And as I made mention at the start of the broadcast, she's got quite the pedigree of goal kicking, but can't quite get that one, so it still remains 20 points to 2 for the Central Coast Roosters. So Amy Barraclough will get things back started now with about 8 minutes to go left in the match. And I think they're going to get the one that just came short of the sideline, so they'll get this one back, Greater Northern Tigers. This is certainly now or never for them now. They'll need something off this play. No two ways about it. That's an encouraging run there by Vicky Human. They'll be looking to play right side of field. This is Barraclough. Beats one. Couldn't quite be. Oh, bit of friendly fire there with Jessie Baker. Nice little dummy left run going right. And they'll get the penalty. So the tackle count will reset. Nice little dart up the middle. The set left, but then she'll go herself. But she was stopped in her tracks. That's Casson. Nicely brought there by Kristen Kessler. And that's a penalty as well. So they'll get another set. And nice one up the middle. I think she's beaten everyone. No. Casting the play from dummy half. Cut out pass. This is... Couldn't quite get it. I think that was Shay Pemberton. Oh, nice little... Oh, the middle. Has she beaten everyone? I don't think she's going to get that. I think she might have even knocked it on. She has. That was Deborah McGrady from Moree Boomerangs. Definitely the right play, but couldn't quite execute it. And with about just over 5 minutes left to go in this one, you think... Here we go. It's toying with the sideline. It's going to be... I think that's Jocelyn Keller. Kelleher gets it off to Kristen Kessler. And it's back to Kelleher. Kelleher beats one, beats two. Gets it off to the left side of field. I think... Oh, dear. Kristen Kessler couldn't quite finish it.
How long we got?
She only had the try line to greet, but she couldn't quite finish it off. Nice little play. That was about 80 metres made up there. And that's Jessie Baker. Stopped in her tracks by Stephanie Sharp. Away it goes. This is Barraclough. Sorry, that was Vicky Newman. Newman will have it back. Could it be a slight touch of knock on? Yes, it is. And this will be Kirsten Kessler. Have it. 20 metres out from the Greater Northern Tigers line. Jocelyn Kelleher was stopped in her tracks. Away it goes now to Goodhand. 10 metres out. This is Sharp. Sharp couldn't quite beat. She beat two, couldn't quite beat the third. That was well dispersed there by, I think, Cody Ryan. Nice little dummy run. Cut out pass. She's beaten everyone. And that is Jocelyn Kelleher from the entrance. She set out the score in herself for going 80 metres. She completes the job with that one. And she has completed the job there for the Central Coast Roosters. It is now 24 points to 2 over the Greater Northern Tigers. And they will go to the grand final against the Southern Conference winner. And all of today's try scorers are definitely no stranger with the try line. And in this case, Jocelyn Kelleher from the entrance. In her 2016 season, scored 8 tries. In her 2015 season, she went over the stripe 7 times. And it's really showed today with the likes of Holly Buchanan and Ashley Russell both getting doubles. Jocelyn Kelleher comes to the party with one herself to send Central Coast Roosters into the grand final against the Southern Conference team. Holly Buchanan to put the cherry on top here. Not quite, just shades the face of goals. So it's 24 points to 2, Central Coast over the Greater Northern Tigers here in Sawtell. So Greater Northern Tigers at best will probably have one more set of 6 in this one. They played quite the impressive tournament. And if you were fortunate enough to watch that game in Lismore, they just had everything. They had tough defence, they had tough attack. And not just that, I've done a few Greater Northern Tigers games across the board. They're just a really good rugby league community, just a widespread community. And they just live and breathe rugby league. And like all these other teams do in the country rugby league. Nice little fake pass. She manages to get it through 2 or 3 small sets of hands. And that's Stephanie Sharp. Could she get one herself? So that was about a 50-metre gain there, and it went about maybe through 10 sets of hands. They're not finished yet, Central Coast Roosters. They really want to go into the next week's grand final with some real ascendancy and assertiveness. There's a 2-on-1 there, and that was well diffused there. I think that was from... I can't quite make the number out. That was Jesse Baker who diffused it, which was completely necessary because Ashley Russell, who is like that corner all day, probably would have got a hat-trick if the pass had made it out to her. Away it goes, and I think they've just got another one right there and there. And I think Kirk Rogan will confirm it as such. Central Coast have definitely not putting the foot off the pedal here. They've just scored another one. Couldn't quite make out the try score. It just came out of nowhere. But it does make the score, I think, 28 points to 2 in favour of Central Coast. And we'll just confirm the try score in just a little bit. And this will probably be the last point of call for the game. That was the try scorer in that one was Shannon Higgins from Terrigal, sorry. So about 60 seconds left to go here in Sawtell in the Northern Conference final for the ladies tag. This kick will probably be the last piece of action in this game. And Buchanan puts it in the books now for the Central Coast. Thus now they're making it 30 points to 2. And that is it. That is Central Coast Roosters are off to the big dance against the Southern Conference team in the finals of the ladies tag for 2018. What an impressive performance by the Central Coast and all those involved. Greater Northern Tigers, though, they can hold their head up high, getting this far. Central Coast are really going to take some ascendancy into the finals against the Southern Conference representative, in which we'll find that out in due time. We're going to take a little break here in Sawtell. And coming up next, of course, we still have one more match. We have the under-23s match between the North Coast and the Northern Rivers. We'll see you in a few.
official in 3 more minutes, guys.
Dwayne Neville here, coming to you live from Rex Hardiker Oval in Sawtell for the Northern Conference Finals in the 2018 edition. If you just joined us, the Central Coast Roosters got up 30 points to 2 over the Greater Northern Tigers, and thus they will be the Northern Conference representatives against the Southern Conference winner, who I will get for you in the next few minutes. So Sawtell is the home of the Sawtell Panthers in the Group 2 competition. They're currently sitting second in their competition at the present. Last year they finished first in the reserves. They finished second in 18s and fourth in the ladies tag. Oh, that's current. Sorry, they're currently second in the 18s and fourth in ladies tag. They finished fourth in last year's competition. They'll runners up in last year's reserve grade competition. Let's have a look at the tail of the tape between the two teams in our next game in the under-23s competition between North Coast and the Northern Rivers. At fullback we have Owen Blair, and your wingers are Luke Beaumont and Dean Mills, and your centre pairing there of Zach Johnson and Dylan Hemsley. And in the halves we have Michael Hart and Latrell Hampton. And packing down the scrum we have Mitch Smith and Josh Cockbane, and in the hooker position we have Mitch Wilbo. And your second rows are Shannon Elam and Jake Mullum. And to lock the scrum is Joe McKay. And to be on the bench here is Riley Glover, Alex Bunt, Kobe Hugan, and Austin Cooper. And they are coached by Dean Hurrell. For the Northern Rivers team, Jacob Fullant is the fullback. And the wingers there we have Michael Dwayne and Liam Anderson, and they have in the centres with their Ballina teammate Reese Richards, and Benjamin O'Gorman from Coogin is the other centre. Halves in the scrum, the halves are Samuel Grant and Tane Robinson, and to pack the scrum is Joseph Besgrove in the hooker position, and he is in the front row there with Nicholas Morrissey and Caleb Zeeble. Anthony Coleman, the captain from Ballina, is paired with Nicholas Morrissey in the second row, and Nicholas Morrissey in the prop position, and Jake is there paired there by Jack Hoban. And in the lock we have Kyle Kennedy. On the bench we have Luke Campbell, Hayden Pratt, Kaylin Hensby, and Lachlan Perrin, and they are coached by Max Beecher. Then we see the winning team, Central Coast, clapping on the Northern Rivers team. Billy Greatbatch draws the assignment here in the centre, and he is assisted by Bailey DeMarco and Nick Martin on the sidelines. Hope you're enjoying the coverage here on Bar TV, across the crlnsw.com.au websites and all the social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube. Let us know where you're watching this coverage from. I made mention in the ladies tag game earlier that the Northern Conference in every aspect is well and truly represented today. And coming over the airport side of the field there is the Mid-North Coast. Northern Rivers booked a date in this game by defeating the Great Northern Tigers in Lismore 26 points to 4. Their player to watch, who scored a really impressive hat-trick, is Joseph Besgrove, scoring 3 tries, and then the winger is Michael Dwayne, who scored 2 in the corner there, thus getting him into this dance here against the North Coast. And of course, then the player to watch for the North Coast, their player to watch would be Latrell Hampton, who scored a quite impressive 3 tries. He's a 3-time representative. And North Coast will kick things off here. They'll be running from left to right. North Coast, they booked a date here in Sawtell. They had a come from behind win at the death against Central Coast in Maxville, and they really went on with the business against Newcastle and Maitland last week. Can they go on with that ascendancy? Can they follow the trend of playing week in and week out, just like Central Coast did? They didn't have the bye last week. Could that be the deciding factor between these two teams, as Northern Rivers had the bye last week? And we're underway here in Sawtell. Nice deep kick there by the Mid-North Coast. And that's well diffused there by Michael Dwayne. And that's nicely defended there by Dylan Hemsley from Warhope. 20 metres out from the line. Nice, solid run there. Northern Rivers will be looking to start things off like they did in Lismore against the Greater Northern Tigers. They started hard and fast. Mid-North Coast will be looking to match that with them. Nice little... Oh! Was looking to go a little bit high, but he just kept the discipline well enough to keep him just on the side of the shoulders. Nice little hard run. A good tackle there by Latrell Mitchell. He's playing on home turf today here in Sawtell. He's a Sawtell Panthers representative. Nice little deep kick there by Tane Robinson, who would be one of these players that have travelled the furthest to get here. He's a Tweed Coast representative. He's met there by Joseph Bestgrove. Nice little darting run at the middle. Nice tackle there by Jake Hoban. And assisted there by Bestgrove, always looking for work. This is going to be run up there by Josh Cockbay. Again, another Sawtell representative. Him and Hampton. They would be having a bit of a support crew in the crowds here today, playing on home turf week in, week out for Sawtell Panthers. Nice little chip there. It's going to be met there by Jacob Fallant. He's dispersed there 20 metres on the side of his own line. Nicely tackled there by Joe McKay from Maxville. Outside 40 metres on line. Just on the 40 now. This is going to be run up there by Anthony Coleman. He's part of that grand final winning team from last year's Triple RIL competition against Coogin. Playing the left side of field. Looked slightly forward from where I'm standing, but Billy Graybridge is going to let it play on. Floated slightly forward. Nevertheless, it's play on. Nicely brought down there. This should be fifth and last, and they got it about 30 metres away from the Mid-North Coast line. They'll be looking to send this an up and under. Nice little kick, but it's going to be diffused, and it's well brought there by Owen Blair from Port City. 10 metres out from the Mid-North Coast line. They'll be looking to get some good yardage out of this one. Nice little darting run. It's a nice tackle there by Caleb Siebel. Dwayne Neville here, Bar TV Sports here from Sawtell. 4-0 Northern Rivers over the North Coast. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. Apologies if the stream happens to be dropping out. We're having some supply issues, power supply issues here in Sawtell. If you just missed it, it was Reece Ritchie's from Ballina representative, ex-Byron Bay representative, who scored the try there for Northern Rivers. Kick was unsuccessful. Reece Ritchie's scored 4 tries for Ballina in the 2018 competition so far, scoring 2 against Cargill and Lower Clarence. And in 2017, he scored 5 tries. And just as I say that, Northern Rivers score another one. They're getting on with this one now early. It's 8-0 Northern Rivers over North Coast. And I could be wrong, but I think Caleb Zeeble was the one that got it over. Caleb Zeeble from Coogin. I was just finished reading out the profile for Reece Ritchie's. He scored in 2017, scored 5 tries in both the 2017 and 16 competitions. In 2016, he was representing the Byron Bay under-18s. Caleb Zeeble from Coogin was the one that got over there to make it 8-0 for Northern Rivers. He's a free-time representative. And he plays his local competition footy for the Coogin Hornets. He scored 7 tries in the 2017 competition and 2016 10 tries. So both Reece Ritchie's and Caleb Zeeble are no strangers to the try line. 8-0 for Northern Rivers over North Coast here in Sawtell. And this will be Benjamin O'Gorman to line this one up. Hopefully he's hoping to have better luck with this one. And he sends this one over and over the black dot to make it 10-0. Northern Rivers over North Coast here in Sawtell. We're about 10 minutes in here in Sawtell. If you just joined us, Central Coast defeated Greater Northern Tigers in the ladies tag match to win 30 points to 2. They'll as play gets restarted here, and I think they're going to be sending this one back, Northern Rivers. It was looking to go deep. And I've got here the GRS West Tigers defeated the Illawarra South Coast Dragons 12 points to 10 in the Southern Pool game. They will go on to play Central Coast next week in the ladies tag in the finals. 12 points to 10 GRS West Tigers over the Illawarra South Coast Dragons. Nice little run there by Josh Cockbain. It's not next to score territory time for Mid-North Coast, but they want to keep up with the intensity that Northern Rivers has come with. That was exactly how they played and beat the Greater Northern Tigers in Lismore 2 weeks prior. A nice fast start and get quick points. Mid-North Coast is the first real possession that they had attacking play in this contest, so they can still possibly match it with the Northern Rivers. Though not like that. Not bit of a fumble there. Northern Rivers will have this one back. Nice little darting run, and they've given away a penalty. Oh dear. Northern Rivers will, if they don't get it inside the Mid-North Coast half of field, they will get it at least on the halfway line. So they'll have it about maybe on the 30-metre line, their own half. They'll have it 30 metres out from their own line. Nice little run there. Been up in the sea of Mid-North Coast defenders. 40 metres out. No, I think that's nice little flick off pass there, and that's going to be Kyle Kennedy. They're setting up right here. I could see the likes of Tane Robertson, but they'll get the penalty at 10-0 Northern Rivers over North Coast. Nice little darting run there by Joseph Besgrove. They're set up on the right side here for Northern Rivers. Away it goes now to Robinson. Cut out pass. They're in again. And that is Jake Hooban. That is over for Northern Rivers. They are really getting on with the business here, Northern Rivers. So they're up now. 14 points to 0. Over the mid-north coast. And we'll just confirm that was Jake Hooban that crossed the stripe there. This is a different team from the mid-north coast team that just absolutely barnstormed Newcastle. I think it was 44 points to, 10. Northern Rivers have really come out of the gates in this one. Yeah, Jake. We want to thank our sponsors again as Benjamin O'Gorman takes this kick. We want to thank our sponsors once more, Victor Sports and Bar TV and SEL World Australia. Trust you're enjoying the coverage wherever you might be watching around Australia and guess around the world as well. Wherever you may be. Let us know where you're watching from. And Benjamin O'Gorman adds the extras there. It's now 16 points to 0. Northern Rivers over North Coast here in Sawtell. Sorry, apologies. That is Samuel Grant who converted the kick there. And Jake Hooban, he's the Lismore Morris Brothers representative. He's actually a 5-time representative, and he's got 1 try he's tallied in this current season of the NRRL for the Morris Brothers. Scored 4 tries in the 2017 competition. We continue on here. Northern Rivers got out to a fast-paced lead. Nice little darting run up the middle there by the try scorer, Jake Hooban. North Coast hopefully not to break discipline there. Nice big run there by, I think that's it, Anthony Coleman from Ballina, 40 metres away from their own try line. They've basically been scoring off every set of 6 they've had in Northern Rivers. With a spot on the line in next week's grand final, the team that plays the whole 80 is going to go on with it. This is 5th and last, 40 metres away from the North Coast line. Nice bomb up the middle. And it's going to be met there by Luke Beaumont. Sorry, that was Dean Mills. And referee says play on. He almost dropped it, but he well gathered that was Austin Cooper. Again, another Sawtell Panthers representative out here. And I'm hoping these guys have got family and friends sitting in the stands today. So, as far as I'm concerned, I think there's 3 representatives from Sawtell here today. And I hope you're all watching on Bar TV too, for all your friends and family and loved ones. Because this is definitely a fixture where everyone had to do their bit on the roads today. Everyone including myself. Away go, 40 metres out from the Northern Rivers line, and nicely diffused there. I think that could be Liam Anderson. Didn't quite make it out. Number. Nicely brought down there by Latrell Hampton. 16-0 if you just joined us here at Sawtell. Now, there was 2 players just to the other side of me that were unmarked. They couldn't quite get the ball out far enough. Nice little darting run up the middle, 40 metres out, about 10 metres inside of field. Oh, he's just stopped in his tracks there. I hope he's not injured. That's Anthony Coleman. He just completely surrendered. I hope he hasn't pulled a muscle or anything. He seems to be okay. Possibly might be just cramp. Nicely diffused there by Mid-North Coast. And they'll have this one 30 metres out from their own line. Just trying to do a sneaky little dart up the middle, Andrew McCulloch style there. Goes away from Mitch Wilbro, Port Macquarie Sharks representative. 3rd phase of play. Wilbro again. Away it goes to Hart. They finally breach Northern Rivers half a field. This is Hart again. Looking for work. They'll be setting themselves up to get some, at least get some metres, make Northern Rivers play deep inside their own half a field. That's a lovely kick. It's going to be greeted there by Forland. And he'll have it 15 metres away from his own line. The Northern Rivers, in their competition, their major premiers are Ballina. They won against Coogin last year and in the under-18s as well. Ballina have basically dominated the NRRL for a majority of years. I think up until 2013, they've only not won the Shield once. I think Moolumbar took it in 2016, but they've always been there on grand final day. They're also the current minor premiers. Competition's being currently led by the Coogin, who have a perfect record of 6-0. They just leapfrogged Tweed Coast and Mullum, who were the joint leaders last week. They played out last week, and I think Mullum. I think that game was actually a draw, and Mullum actually got it at the death. So those two got the draw. It was a gain for Coogin. They are currently the head of the pack in the NRRL competition. In the North Coast, Aurora Valley are currently leading the competition with Sawtell. They have a 5-1 record. Oh, that's intercepted there. I mean, that's Tane Robertson. He's got help on his left side. Don't think he's going to opt for it. He probably should have. But well intercepted there by Tane Robinson. He is one of those Tweed Coast players I was mentioning. 20 metres out from the North Coast line. They're setting out for a right side play in Northern Rivers. So they're deciding to go play up the middle. That's Anthony Coleman. He's looking okay. I thought he might have pulled cramp or whatnot. Nice little dunny run. That's Robertson. Everything's just going right for Northern Rivers today so far. Can they get just reward? Not quite. Now there's players on the left, about 4 or 5 on, maybe 2 or 3 on the left side, and that's where they're going. They're met up, and there it is. There's got numbers. He surely should get over, and he does. They read that left side play. They had gaps everywhere, and they made the most of it, Northern Rivers. And they're extending their lead even that much further. And I believe the score now is 20 points to 0, Northern Rivers over North Coast. And if you were watching Mid-North Coast's game against Newcastle, you wouldn't dare think this would be the scoreline so early in the half. Northern Rivers have definitely come out to play today. And that was Benjamin O'Gorman from Coogin, who is a member of the, as I was mentioning before, the leaders of the NRRL. He's a free-time representative. He was part of the team that were the runners-up against Ballina in that grand final. He's a free-time representative. He kicked 3 goals against the Great Northern Tigers in the match in Lismore 2 weeks ago. In his 2017 season, this is quite an impressive resume, 21 tries, and with 71 goals, which equaled up to 226 points. I think he was the leading point scorer in the competition in the Northern Rivers last year. Now, I believe this is Samuel Grant taking it right on the sideline. Nice calm breeze here in Sawtell. He's sending this one wide. Has he got it accurate? And of course he does. What a lovely kick there. 22 points to nil. Northern Rivers over North Coast. And if you're just joining us, Sawtell is about five minutes south of Coffs Harbour. And I don't know if the camera's picked it up or not, but you can see a big Qantas plane flying there. It's just right adjacent where the Coffs Harbour Airport is. So we've probably got a few plane spotters here too. Mid-North Coast will probably want to try and clean up that ruck. They haven't been pulled up for it as of yet. They can't ill afford to have lack of discipline at 22 points to nil down. It's almost now getting to the point where they might have to be the next to score, even though we're still in the first half. They really need to clean it up in North Coast. Billy Greatbitch will pull, I dare say, will pull them up if. Away it goes. Up the middle there. That's Anthony Coleman. Nicely brought up. So just on the halfway line. Mid-North Coast should get this one back. Nice kick. And this is going to be, I believe, Dean Mills from Taree. Nice tackle there by Hayden Pratt from Casino. And he's looking for work again. He gets involved in the second phase. And I can just caught in the corner of my eye, Alex Bunt from the current leaders in Group 2, Aurora Valley. He's about to come on and contribute into this game. And I think, oh dear, Mid-North Coast they haven't been able to finish many sets of 6. They're now going to give more valuable field position for the Northern Rivers. And if you're just joining us, it's 22-0 here in Sawtell in favour of Northern Rivers. Northern Rivers, they're playing in a yellow strip with the green stripes, the traditional Australian colours, and Mid-North Coast there in the whites, and aqua and orange. Nice little run up the middle there. Oh, that's a big tackle there. And I believe that was Mitchell Wilbro had some involvement. They're looking to go that left side. I think this is Michael Dwayne. The corner, Superman dives over. Did he get it in? Yes, he has. He's favoured that corner throughout in the game 2 weeks ago in Lismore, and he's got there again. Michael Dwayne, I believe, has just dived over, and he's just extended that lead for Northern Rivers even further at 26 points to nil. They have really just gone on with this one, Northern Rivers. And Mid-North Coast, they know it. They are shell-shocked. We'll just confirm that was Michael Dwayne that did score that one. But calling his game 2 weeks ago against Greater Northern Tigers, that sort of looked like how he scored those two in the corner there. And I dare say, just seeing that, I think that was him. We're just going to confirm. Yep. And it is, in fact, Michael Dwayne from Ballina. He's a 2-time representative, and I made mention the 2 tries he did score against the Greater Northern Tigers. He's part of that grand final winning squad. And he's not shy of the try line either. In the current season, he has 2 tries for Ballina. Crossed the stripe 12 times in the 2017 competition, which led them to win the minor and major premierships. Ballina are currently sitting 4th in this year's competition. They had a bit of a slow start, but I think they've lost. I can't exactly confirm the reason. I think that they might have been because of an unregistered player, but they actually lost 2 points. Docked 2 points, I think, against Evans Head, which I think they won 50-0. But they're slowly creeping their way up the ladder in Northern Triple RL. And it's 24-0 here, though, here in Sawtell between Northern Rivers and the North Coast. Just actually, correction, 26-0. The kick was unsuccessful. Sorry. 10 minutes to go left here in the first half here in Sawtell. Trust you're enjoying the coverage here. If you're watching across the YouTube, Facebook platforms on Bar TV and CRL Facebook pages, and of course the Bar TV YouTube page. Let us know what you think of the coverage. Let us know what you think of the quality of the games. Of course, we've got another game being played in the Southern Conference as well. And the two winners will be play in the big dance next week. Nice little run there by, I think that's Tane Robinson. Zeeble. This is the try scorer, Michael Dwayne. And they're about 30 metres out from the North Coast line. Sends the bomb up. And that's going to be out in the full. And it is. So there's going to be a little bit of extra help now for Mid-North Coast. They'll play this one quickly. Nice run there by Dylan Hemsley. Northern Rivers have just been flawless today. They've just played for an attack and defence. Good versatility. Good pedigree. They haven't given away too many penalties. And Mid-North Coast, with the exception of maybe a little bit of ball handling, they haven't played too bad themselves. I think it's more so that they haven't had the opportunity to get down to the Mid-North Coast line and show what they've got. They can certainly attack, as last week's game showed against Newcastle. I was doing my research into this game and watching footage of that game, and it was beyond to be impressive. So they can score. And football is a funny game, and they're not out of this one yet. Nice little darting run up the middle there. They'll have it 30 metres away from their own line, Northern Rivers. They'll just want to hold on to the ball, get out these dying minutes in the first half, go in the sheds with a duck egg on Mid-North Coast. Their attack has just been beyond impressive today, Northern Rivers. They'll have it on the halfway line. Nice little done run by Caleb Zeeble. What a fend there. He just bowls him over. Can this lead to some points? Possibly will. He's getting over there. I think he's got over the stripe. He has. Caleb Zeeble just bowls over the Mid-North Coast defence. They're just on another level altogether today. 30-0. Northern Rivers couldn't quite make out the try scorer. There was Mid-North Coast players making desperate defence. But Caleb Zeeble just absolutely monstered the Mid-North Coast defence with that great try assist, thus making it now 30 points to 0. And in due time, we'll get the try scorer for you. And that was the captain. A lovely little captain's effort there by Anthony Coleman. He is another Ballina representative. He's a three-time rep player. He's currently got one try on his record. He scored that one in the first game of the NRL season against Mullumbimby. He's got 8 tries to his record in both the 2017 and 16 competitions for Ballina. Really putting in the big captain's effort there for the Northern Rivers. Plenty of kicks on the sideline today. And he sends that one over the black dot. 32-0. Northern Rivers over the North Coast. We want to thank our sponsors again, SEL World Australia, Victor Sports and Bar TV. Bar TV sending the pictures across today. And wherever you're watching across the Northern and Southern conferences, I know here in the Northern Conference, as I made it at the top of the broadcast, there are 4 teams being represented out of the 5 possible in some format here today. So there's going to be plenty of viewers across the Northern Conference. I know the Greater Northern Tigers have a fair representative there. It's such a wide area and such a passionate football area. Couldn't quite get the job done today, but they can be proud. They've got a great base out there in the New England area, as well as the Group 4 area in Tamworth, Armidale, and of course Musselbrook and Scone, Tinga. I've been quietly impressed as well as I've been following them quite closely during the Andrew Johns Laurie Daly Cop competitions too. They've just got the base, and of course as well in the ladies tag I've made mention of players like Jessie Baker and Sophie Casson, and Sophie Casson, she'll be a player in the next year or two. She's going on for big things within the next year or two. And of course the Central Coast Roosters, they're the ones that are going to be going through, and they'll be playing the JRS West Tigers next week. Not sure of where that's going to be played, but you'll see the game here on Bar TV. Now, can Mid-North Coast at least get something to take into half-time and at least have the momentum to possibly put a dent in this Northern Rivers lead, because it's a big one. It's 32-0 to Northern Rivers. They'll have to do it here, because that's pretty much their only hope at the moment, is to at least take some momentum into the second half. That was a lovely kick though by Michael Hart from Aurora Valley. They're on to big things too. They're leading the Group 2 competition. You'd think though, like with Grafton, the way they played in last year's competition, they're the current minor and major premiers, and they won it big. I think they didn't lose a game all season last year, and I think they're sitting maybe about third or fourth. Couldn't quite remember. There's a nice little darting run up the middle there. I think that's Zach Johnson. Sorry, that Benjamin O'Gorman. Nicely brought down there by Jared Roberts, also a member of the Aurora Valley squad. Nice little chip up the middle. If they get their hands on it, there's two on their right side. They will go with it. That's Joshua Besgrove. He was brought down and he was looking to get the pass, but it was well intercepted there by Latrell Hampton. And Joshua Besgrove, if you caught any of that coverage against Greater Northern Tigers against Lismore, he was just so dangerous up the middle. And there it showed again. But he couldn't quite get the finish he wanted. He meant well. Not long to go now in the first half here in Sawtell. Northern Rivers were commanding lead at 32-0. And they're about 40 metres away from their own line. Playing the left side of field there on the commentary side. And that was well brought down there by Kalani Hensby. And that was Riley Glover there from Tuncurry playing from dummy, and that was well kicked there by, I think, Michael Hart. They're looking for some possession. I think Northern Rivers will just be looking to hold on to it here. There can't be a whole lot left. Long to go now in the first half here. Nice little run up the middle. And he's going to be brought down there by Zach Johnson from Nambucca Heads. 40 metres out. I think they're just trying to be playing it safe now, Northern Rivers. And they'll get the penalty as well. And he's taking the quick tap, and it's play on. It caught Mid-North Coast defence napping. He's just gained himself a cheeky little 25 metres in advantage there. Northern Rivers, I've actually got this wrong. They're not going to let up and play it safe. They're going to want to go and score another one. They're set up for the right side. They're playing a deep right side attack. I can see the likes of Benjamin O'Goran and Liam Anderson set deep. They're going to be playing deep. That's Tane Robinson. See, look, if he had got the pass out, there was 2-on-1. And you would have thought that would have been another try to the Northern Rivers tally, but he couldn't quite get the pass away. It was just great defence there by Mid-North Coast. And they should see this one out in the first half. Nice little darting run there by Alex Bunt. 30 metres out from their own line. Nice tackle there. That was Hayden Pratt and Luke Campbell. Playing on the commentary side there. Nice defence there by the likes of Lachlan Perrin. That was Dylan Hemsley. And his fifth and last, it'll be inside the 40. He wasn't going to try and attempt a 40-20 kick. Nicely met there by, I think that's Jacob Forlant. He's taking it out to the 30-metre line. Nice little darting run there by Joshua Besgrove. They know he's dangerous. It took 3 of them to bring him down. On their own 40 now. Nicely brought down there by Latrell Hampton. Now give away another penalty. That's what's costing Mid-North Coast. They're giving Northern Rivers these opportunities. They're dangerous. They're dangerous within their own half of the field, let alone inside the Mid-North Coast side of the field. Off the back of 2 sets of 6, they've given away 2 consecutive penalties. It's 32-0 if you just joined us here. Reese Riches will start things off. Sorry, that's Liam Anderson. And with a little breeze coming now on the Mid-North Coast side, Joshua Besgrove passes it out. There's numbers. He's going for the little dummy instead, though. And they're going to opt for that deep play again. I can see it. They set it up again. If the pass gets off better than previous, and they're giving away another penalty. 3 consecutive penalties to the Mid-North Coast. This is really costing them in more ways than one. And this should be one of the last plays. And another penalty. They're going to blow time off here. I think they're going to be a word. There's going to be someone going to the bin if they keep this up. That's 4 penalties straight. If he doesn't sim bin someone already, I think he's just going to give him a warning. Now, they probably won't see out the set of 6 though. Nice little bowling run. There's about 4-on-2 on the left side there for the Northern Rivers, but they'll play at the middle. Easy as you like for Northern Rivers. The left side wasn't required. And that will be 36 points to 0 in favour of Northern Rivers over Mid-North Coast. This has just been a clinical effort for Northern Rivers. I mean, they had the options on the left side. There was about 4-on-2. But they've just played real hard and fast and solid up the middle. And that's where they're getting all these tries. And they're getting the meters to score those tries for the backs. And to confirm the try scorer we have got, that was the likes of Lachlan Perrin from Maris Brothers. He's just come off the interchange. He's also a 3-time representative, and in his 2017 and 15 season for Maris Brothers, he scored 2 tries in each season. So this will be Samuel Graham from Coogin. You won't get an easier kick than this, and there is no breeze, so. Nicely done there by Samuel Grant. Thus now making the score 38 for the Northern Rivers. Mid-North Coast 0 here in Sawtell. And that is halftime. Billy Greatbridge does send them back in the sheds. And if you're looking on the graphic there, that isn't an error. It is in fact 38 to the Northern Rivers, Mid-North Coast 0. Northern Rivers have they've played the flawless game up the middle in their attack, their defence. They just get a tick in every box. And to be fair, Mid-North Coast definitely hasn't showed that kind of scoreline. With the exception of some costly penalties towards the end of the half there. They just really haven't had a chance to score any tries themselves. They haven't really had much attack and whatnot. So it definitely doesn't reflect the scoreline, but nevertheless, it doesn't change the fact that it is in fact 38-0 for Northern Rivers over the Mid-North Coast. We're going to go have a breather up here in the commentary box here in Sawtell. We're going to have some H2O. We will see you in about 5-10 minutes. Dwayne Neville here, coming to you live from Sawtell, Rex Hardiker Oval here in Sawtell, home of the Sawtell Panthers. It is 38 points to nil in favour of Northern Rivers over the North Coast. If you just joined us, second half is about to commence here. And scoring the other game, Monaro Colts are in front, 20 points to 12 in their fixture against St George. Mid-North Coast. And they finish, I dare say they finished starting the second half like they finished the first. Couldn't quite finish the set of 6 there. Giving Northern Rivers valuable field position. We're about 20 metres out from the the North Coast line. 7 different try scorers in the first half, which is sort of pretty much unheard of in rugby league these days. As I mentioned, football is indeed a funny game. Now, Northern Rivers, they're set here for a deep left play. Michael Dwayne's open. He loves that corner. And I think the Mid-North Coast know it too because they've cut him off. But he's running deep up there. I don't think he needs the corner. He's over. And we're in less than a minute into the first half. Northern Rivers are back over again. And the score is now 42 points to nil. And we'll just confirm that was Michael Dwayne that scored. That would be another deuce for him in this competition. As I mentioned earlier, he did score 2 tries against Greater Northern Tigers in Lismore 2 weeks prior. Once again, we want to give our sponsors a shout out, SEL World Australia and Victor Sports. And you're watching this across Bar TV. We always do an impressive job with the local grassroots sport. Send us a shout out of where you're watching this one from. As I said earlier, 4 out of 5 of the Northern Conference teams are represented here today. And I think that's Michael Dwayne there, and he's got a couple of broken bits of tissues stuck up the nose. I hope it's not a busted nose. And that is now 44 to the Northern Rivers, 0 to the Mid-North Coast. Yeah, I hope Michael Dwayne's okay there because he is, well, I dare say if they're off to the grand final next week, he's going to be a valuable asset to that team. About to get things restarted here. And I think that's Latrell Hampton getting things back started here. Sorry, that was Owen Blair. 20 metres out from the Northern Rivers line. 44-0 to Northern Rivers. 50 points does beckon the Northern Rivers in this one. Nice little hard run there for the Northern Rivers on their own 40-metre line. And that's there replicated by the likes of Kyle Kennedy. They're playing the right side play. And this time, Mid-North Coast get a penalty. In this case, it's a very rare one because they've been given away penalties and they'll get one back. And the kick, is that even going to go out? No. But it's going to be knocked on anyway. So that's going to be knocked forward. I was just going to say that nothing is actually going right for the Mid-North Coast, but they get a quite handy reprieve there by the Northern Rivers. That was dribbled forward there by, I think, Benjamin O'Gorman. Now, Mid-North Coast is set deep here on the right side, on the commentary side. So I think there's probably a player or two missing between outside centre and the right winger. Away it goes now to the commentary side of field. Nice little darting run up the centre. I think that's Riley Glover. Zach Johnson's keen to get his hands on it, but they decide to go left. Nice run up the middle there by Jared Roberts. And, solid run there by Shannon Hellam. The Tarrant Old Bar representative. Playing right side of field. This is Owen Blair with it. He's keen to at least get a try now for the Mid-North Coast. They can attack Mid-North Coast. Last week proved it against Newcastle. They're going to need some of that spark here today. Can this be the one that finally gets the ball rolling for him? This will be a little grubber. He'll be aiming for the... Oh, was that knocked on? It's going to be irrelevant. It's going to be a repeat set for the Mid-North Coast. This will be a start of something now for the Mid-North Coast to finally get something out of this game. Because at 44-0, it's a bit of a far stretch to come back from here. Restart now on the line dropout. And Owen Blair will have it on the 50-metre line. And this is going to be a solid run here by Elam. 30 metres out from the Northern Rivers line. Away goes to Mitch Wilbo. And brought forward there by Zach Johnson. Oh, Northern Rivers, they don't want to ruin this well-assertive play that they've been doing. Nicely brought forward there. And they've got players on the left. Away it goes now to Joe McKay. Nice little dunk by Blair. They've got a gap open on the left side. Can they get one back here? Not quite. He's well defended there by the Northern Rivers. Fourth phase of play. Away it goes down to Latrell Hampton. Brought forward there by Joe McKay from Maxville. This is the fifth and last. Nice little grubber, but it's going to go straight into Northern Rivers. But it's going to be a penalty to... Who's he giving the penalty? It's going to be a penalty, but who's it going to? Can't quite make out. I don't think it's even going to be a penalty. It's going to be a scrum feed. Can't quite make out who it's going to. And they'll play left side of field. Nice little darting run up the middle. Northern Rivers have just been on point with their defence and especially their attack. Because Mid-North Coast are now throwing everything at them. Joe Mackay. He's had an impressive tournament thus far. Nice little fake pivot dummy play. This is Blair. Blair has just been on point with his attack too. And can he reward himself for a try? He's over the line. I don't think he's quite got it down. No, it's going to be held up. Billy Greatbridge will call it held up. They're still showing some eagerness though, the Mid-North Coast, despite the hefty scoreline. Hard run up there by Kobe Hugan. He's from Warhope. It's going to the airport side of field. This is Hampton. Cut out pass. There's numbers for on the left. Keep your holds on to he's in. And Mid-North Coast will get one back here. Nice try in the corner there for the Mid-North Coast. That now makes the score 44 points to 4 in favour for the Northern Rivers. And I think that was Dean Mills. I'll just confirm. Actually, Blake Wells. Blake Wells was the try scorer there for the Mid-North Coast. It must be a late edition too, because I don't even have him on my team lineup, but so Luke Beaumont will have this one on the sideline. So with Luke Wells, it was number 5, the try scorer there, and Luke Beaumont, the Aurora Valley representative. He's a 4-time representative at representative level. Sends this one over, and what an impressive kick there by Luke Beaumont. 44 points to 6 in favour of the Northern Rivers. we're about 10 minutes and change in the second half here in Sawtell. You're watching this live on Bar TV Sports across the state, country, and around the world, wherever you're watching, either on YouTube, Facebook, or on the crlnsw.com.au websites, or social media pages. Good turnout here today in Sawtell. Probably have, as I mentioned before, maybe have a few plane spotters with the airport literally just over the trees there. We're about 5 minutes south of Coss Harbour, if you're unfamiliar with where Sawtell actually is. It's about a 3 hours drive from Byron Bay, where I've come from. And as I made mention throughout this broadcast, everyone's had a bit in travelling today. Across the players, the referees, the staff here. Northern Conference is pretty much well represented in some form today. So that I heard a rumour that some of the Greater Northern girls travel as far as 8 hours to be here today. So it allows Bar TV, it allows everyone here to watch their sons and daughters play this great game of rugby league. Allows them to watch it on a social platform, as it is a bit tough when it comes to travel. There it goes. Oh, nice little fake dummy run up the centre there. You just joined us. It's now 44-6 for the Northern Rivers. This one goes sent high, and I think this is going to be collected by Luke Beaumont. That's about 15 metres away from their own try line. Nicely brought down there by, I think, Anthony Coleman. He's assisted there by, I think it was Eden Symes, I think number 18. Nice little dart up the middle there by Mitch Wilborough. So that's the fourth phase of play. Just short of the halfway line. Nice hard run there by Jared Roberts. This will be the fifth and last. About 5 metres short of the halfway line. Just outside the 40. Step or two outside the 40. This is going to be a nice, I think this is Liam Robinson. Sorry, Anderson. Liam Anderson. My apologies. Sorry, that was Benjamin O'Gorham. And that, now Northern Rivers, they don't want to make a habit of that. They've got it, despite the handy lead that they do have, they need to at least, but if it's more than likely that they do go into next week's grand final, that they don't creep that into next week's game. I do recall when they played the Greater Northern Tigers in Lismore 2 weeks ago, that second half was just on point, and that's certainly carried into this game. Well, that pass was a little bit low there by Latrell Hampton, but nicely recovered. 40 metres away from the Northern Rivers line. Away goes now to Alex Bunt. And it was well dispersed there by, I think that was Hayden Pratt that had it in the tackle. And Mid-North Coastal, there's a little bit of argy-bargy there. Northern Rivers, Mid-North Coast don't want to make a habit of that either. I know tensions are a bit tough at the moment. As we're about to pack the scrum here, Northern Rivers will have it 25 metres, or actually 25 metres away from their own try line. And we're about, can't quite make out how long it was. Away it goes now to Benjamin O'Gorman. He's met there by the likes of Luke Beaumont. He'll have that on about 35 metres away from his own line. They're setting up a right side play. Cut out pass. Nice little run there by Jake Hoban. Just short of the halfway line. And there's more argy-bargy in the background there. I think it's more of a friendly argy-bargy than anything malice, but there's actually, I was just going to say that it's starting to get a bit of a habit of drop ball there. Hands on hips from both teams. Northern Rivers, well, you think at 40, I think it's what, 44 to 6. They're sitting comfortably at the moment, but in no game of football can you put the cue in the rack, despite the score, because the winner has got a date with the Southern Conference winner, and if they need to, whoever, if no matter what, as I said, what the score is, you need to be able to get accustomed to playing an 80-minute game, because that's what's going to be required to take out the title. So now, Mid-North Coast are 35 metres away from the Northern Rivers line. Can they go back-to-back tries? Nice little hard run there by Mitch Smith from Port Macquarie. I mean, as I mentioned, those Group 3 boys, they're the home team, and they themselves have travelled anywhere between an hour and a half to 3 hours to be there themselves. Away goes now to Shannon Elam. He gets it to the 10-metre line, fifth and last. Now, the left side looking pretty strong as far as attack goes. They're going to spread it out there. Northern Rivers reads it well, but I was just saying they're going to read it well, but he drops it, and they give the Mid-North Coast a valuable set of 6, 10 metres short of the Northern Rivers line. Northern Rivers, as I made mention just a minute or two ago, they want to clean this up. Even though they might get through this one, they can't afford to take that with them to the finals. So take the scrum. They're trying to get this scrum down. Now the right side player, Owen Blair's, I can see Owen Blair's set up deep. Northern Rivers read it. Mid-North Coast decide to go opting for the forward run. They're calling for a knock-on, but it's going to be play on. This is Mackay, 5 metres short of the line. They play the left side of field. Well read there by Northern Rivers defence. Nice little behind run. Nice little flick pass back and forth there. Can they get something from it? Mid-North Coast. They'll get 6 more tackles out of it. Probably the second best outcome they could have hoped for. They'll have it 20 metres away from the Northern Rivers line. Nice starting run up the middle there. Can they get something off this play? Away it goes now to Riley Glover. Cut out pass out there to Zach Johnson. Zach Johnson's over! Back-to-back tries now back in for Mid-North Coast. And it was Zach Johnson. Thus now making the score now 44 points to 10 in favour of Northern Rivers. And Zach Johnson, he's a 4-time representative. And that's actually his second try in this tournament. He was one of the try scorers against Newcastle last week, and he did it by doing an 80-metre dash. It was sort of like when I was doing the research and when I watched that, it was sort of like when Sophie Casson scored her try in Lismore. I mean, if that was in Maitland, she'd probably, if that replicated like Sophie Casson going from Lismore to Byron Bay, I can say that Zach Johnson's try would have went from Maitland up to here. He probably ran to the game to get here today. But he's from Nambucca Head, so he probably would have stayed home first and then come up here. But he's definitely a player to watch out for in the near future. So Luke Beaumont, does he favour this side of field as well? Because that first kick was impressive. Can he kick it on this side too? Brings it in and it looks good. It is good. 44-12 for the Northern Rivers. Mid-North Coast are really now slowly picking up in this game. But will it be enough to keep going on with it? You can just sense that the Northern Rivers they're the ones that have sort of been dropping a bit of ball, and Mid-North Coast have been making the most of their mistakes, just as was the case in the first half. But will there be enough time to actually make a revival from 44-6 originally? Didn't look like the case in the first minute of the second half. Mid-North Coast, they'll at least want to try and see if they can finish home strong and see what they can do. So that's 20 metres away from their own half of the field. Northern Rivers are calling for drop ball, but they're not going to get it. Nice hard run there. Well met by the Northern Rivers defence. And now we're going down to the right side of the field. Nicely picked up there by the likes of Kirby Hugan. He's had an impressive game. Just short of the 40 metres away from their own side of the field. But now it's going on from Hampton. They're bringing us to the airport side of the field. They've got a couple of phases left in this set. Inside 40, will they go 40-20? Nice little spiring kick. It's going to be met by Benjamin O'Gorman. Well diffused. He too's been impressive. 35 metres away from the Northern Rivers line. It's going to be brought up there by, I think that's Anthony Coleman. Nice little solid darting run to get it to halfway. Second phase of play. Just short now, 40 metres. If they can finish their set of 6, they might be able to finish the game strong. That's what they need to do now, Northern Rivers. They're setting up for a deep left side play. That's where they're going. Away it goes now. Looks like, I think that's Kyle Kennedy. They'll have one more left. They'll be looking for no, they're going left. I could see Liam Anderson there on the left side. The kick was meant for him. It didn't quite get to him. So they'll have, and I think that's, oh dear. And you can look there, and I think he knows it too. They've just given Northern Rivers a potential gift there, 10 metres out from the mid-north coast line. He will wish he had that back again. But there's a song from a band called Hatebreed. If you can't change tomorrow what you can't change today. And I think that's what rings true right now in the case of that play. And that's going to be Joshua Basgrove sending it out. And this looks like Benjamin O'Gorman. Oh, he's well brought down there. Just short of the line. He did have back up there on the right side. I think that was Michael Twain. Nice little solid up the middle. And they're setting up for a left side play. They'll get another set of 6 though. Bad habits are creeping back in for Mid-North Coast. This is what cost them in the first half. Towards the end of the first half. You cannot afford to give Northern Rivers any chances on this close to the line. They've just been too clinical in attack today, as the case in this tournament. They're setting up for either side. I think they had a look at the left, but they're gonna go right. It's gonna be no, he's gonna be stopped in his tracks. That was Jacob Forland for Maris Brothers. They're going deep. Their left side, there's about 3. I wonder if they can get it out quick enough, but I think they've got him well read. They'll probably still go left. There's still numbers on the left side. And that's going to go cut out pass, and that was well diffused. Had to be done there by, I think that was Luke Beaumont. Because that was either going to go in the hands of Anthony Coleman or I think Liam Anderson. And that would have been a half century for Northern Rivers had they have got that. Still might be, but nevertheless it just holds up time, get a few more deep breaths back in for either team. Now Northern Rivers, they're set up deep here again. They've been dangerous every time they've played a deep play. And this Anthony Coleman up the middle again. It's been a very decisive effort with 7 tries, no less than 7 or 8 try scorers for Northern Rivers today. It's been a real team effort. And they'll go the cutout pass, and as easy as you like in the corner there for Northern Rivers. And they'll have a chance to bring up the half century. It is now 48 to now 10, I think. I'm just going to double check. It is in fact 48 to 12 now for Northern Rivers over the Mid-North Coast. And I think that puts a stem on the assertiveness and momentum the Mid-North Coast did have. They'll have a chance to chalk up 50 here. Dwayne Neville here in the commentary box here, calling here from Sawtell Panthers home ground, Rex Hardiger Oval. Sawtell Panthers, they're a team in Group 2 in the Mid-North Coast competition. I hope you and trust you enjoying watching this coverage here on Bar TV Sports. And of course, our other sponsors, Victor Sports and SEL World Australia. Perfect day for football here. It's about 21, 22 degrees. A little bit humid though. Definitely more comfortable conditions to play football than I think when we did the Johns Daly Cup. There were some hot temperatures. Then it was a late start into the autumn. I know back home in Byron we were getting like 95% humidity days. And that's going to be kicked on the sideline. Will this one go over? Not quite. So the half century hasn't been chalked up as yet. It is 48 now to the Northern Rivers, to 12 to the Mid-North Coast. Here in Sawtell. Mid-North Coast to restart this one. Just update in the other game. 38 to 18 for Monaro over St George Illawarra. And of course, in the ladies tag, it's Central Coast going to be playing the GRS Tigers, West Tigers, next week. They won their game 30. Well, Central Coast, they beat the Greater Northern Tigers, which they needed a perfect effort, because when I was doing the Greater Northern Tigers versus Northern Rivers game in Lismore, I didn't think anyone was going to stop them. 22-0. Their attack was just beyond impressive, as well as their defence. And there's a cutout pass. That's going to reach Liam Anderson. It's going to be called play on. Will they get him over the sideline? There's the 50 for Northern Rivers. And it's going to be courtesy of Benjamin O'Gorman. And that is the half century there, confirmed there by Billy Greatbridge. Benjamin O'Gorman makes it to 52 points to 12 over the North Coast. And everywhere between the Tweed Coast, Lower Clarence, as west as Casino and Kyogle, they'll be celebrating big tonight. But there's still the big important game, the big dance next week against, at this stage, it's going to be Monaro, but of course that can all change. So there's just about under 15 minutes left to go on this one. Yeah, so I dare say Northern Rivers, which was the case for Central Coast, they played right to the final whistle, which that was what they'll need to take with them going into next week. Yeah, there's just a little bit of a breeze picking up towards where the airport is, which is about 1 to 7 on the clock face wind-wise. So in other words, he's blowing into a bit of a stiff breeze. That's just slightly picked up. This is, I think, Samuel Grant having a go at this one. And that's not going to alter his performance. He's kicked an amazing kick there, Samuel Grant from Coogin. 54 points to 12 in favour of Northern Rivers. North Coast send this one up, and oh dear, it was a hard kick. It was a hard kick to catch, but Mid-North Coast, I'll have this one back in valuable position. And that was the sort of kick which Kyle Felt kicked in the 2015 Grand Final, where Ben Hunt dropped it, which, being a Brisbane supporter, it's something I wish I forgot.
I could forget, and it's hard to when you see that. It was like kicking, and it was sort of spiraling, but not quite. It was a hard kick to catch, and could Mid North Coast reap some kind of reward from it? That was Zach Johnson with the ball. He scored that position of the field. Did he get? He might have actually crossed the line here, but I think he was just short of the chalk there. This will be the third phase. A little darting dummy run. Can he get a sneaky try out of this one? Away, and that's going to be Owen Blair. He's going himself. He did have help there of two players on his left side. They're setting up for a forwards run though on the third phase of play, or fourth phase of play, should I dare say, but they're opting to go left. They really favoured that side all day, but Northern Rivers were there ready for it. And Northern Rivers will have it about 10 metres off their own try line. And it's 54 points to 12 here. Northern Rivers doing it quite comfortably here at Sawtell. And hopefully there's a bit of a diverse viewing there. By, as I mentioned earlier, we're well represented here today across the Northern Conference, both in personnel and players and referees, because the game as a whole is well represented here in today's match day and the finals. I hope you're enjoying the coverage wherever you're watching. We hope to see more. This is the beginning of things in country rugby league in general, where we can have the live stream, so you people, the viewers there, can enjoy watching this coverage live. And it just creates, and the players know that they have a live stream that gets them all excited, creates a good, exciting atmosphere in the Bush League game, in the Bush. And nice little run up the middle there. I think that is Samuel Grant. He had a similar run in Lismore, but it was forward passing, so he got denied a try. But he might actually have put his hand in the assisting one. But no, it's going to be well defended there by Mid North Coast. Only just so. I don't think he's got him over the line. Northern Rivers will have one more play. Cut out pass. They can go deep. There is numbers. Benjamin O'Gorman there waiting for it, but he's not required because Anthony Coleman will go himself. And we'll get another try for the Northern Rivers. I believe that was Anthony Coleman. We will confirm it with the people downstairs. Can they get? I think that will give them a chance at 60 points for the Northern Rivers. That does make it 58 to 12. I think we're just about inside 10 minutes left in this one. And Northern Rivers, they already look like they're half celebrating out there. They know there's a long drive back for them. We're just going to confirm the try scorer. It is Anthony Coleman. And it is in fact Anthony Coleman who did score that one. Really had a good captain's knock today, Anthony Coleman. The Northern Rivers boys, they're ready to get back in the cars. Head back up the A1. It's a nice drive coming down there this morning. It was a nice drive coming down the A1 this morning. I left before sunrise this morning, so didn't have much traffic coming down. I know these boys probably came down at a similar time. As I set up, I had the assistance of some coffee and of course I had Parkway Drives up and being played on, which is always good driving music, which makes the drive a lot easier when you're coming down the A1. I know these boys will be keen to get back. With that being said, I don't know if these boys are going to be back. That is a lovely kick, and that is 60 points to 12 for the Northern Rivers. With that being said, I was just making mention that these boys, I can only barely vouch for the Northern Rivers, but these boys did back up the next day in the NRRL competition. I know when Byron Bay played Coogin the day after that game, and when Northern Rivers played Greater Northern Tigers, they had their Coogin representatives did in fact back up in that game. So, and the rest of the people did back up as well. Though with the travel, I'm not sure if they they might be backing up for tomorrow's matches. And there we're giving away another penalty there, Northern Rivers. Northern Rivers will have that one. And it looking like it will be Northern Rivers versus Monaro in next week's final. And they'll have this another set of 6 inside the North Coast half, I feel. And we do want to thank Sawtell for hosting this match day today. They've been great hosts. Nice part of the world here in the Cost region. Got the Big Banana not far up the road, maybe about 10 minutes up the road. And I think that's going to be called double knock on. It's going to go in favour of the Mid-North Coast. So Mid-North Coast will have the scrum feed 30 metres away from their own line. And we're in the dying minutes here in this one, and Mid-North Coast, they'll now head back to their local competition. And up the middle there, that's a nice run there by Zach Johnson. He's been impressive today. He's looking out to his try tally, but he's not going to be able to manage it. And instead, they're going to give away a penalty, I think, for offside. I think Owen Blair was in front of him. Bit of an offside play there. And I think I could see that was Liam Anderson from Ballina. I think he had a little bit of cramp in back play there. But he looks okay. He's actually going to... Sorry, I think that was Joseph Besgrove. I know it's because he's getting ready to make a dummy play. He's been impressive once more today. Just past the 40-metre line, 35 metres away from the North Coast try line. Nice darting run up the centre. Brought down on the second phase of play. They're once again set up for either side. Another nice solid run there. I think that's Caleb Zeeble. He's looking to get 2 tries for the day. They're set deep on the left. They're going to go for broke here again, Northern Rivers. They're not letting up. And did he get that one down? And yes, he has. I think that was Benjamin O'Goran. I think that's a hat-trick for Benjamin O'Goran. And that now makes the score 64 points to 14, 12. 64-12. 70 is not out of reach for Northern Rivers today. And there's probably about 2 minutes left. I think Northern Rivers will probably get one more play out of this one after the kick's been taken. Other than the fact to play for the whole 80, they want to opt for 70 points. Which was definitely unheard of coming into this game. Most would have been predicting a pretty tight game today. And I think this is going to be Samuel Grant. He's been so impressive on the sideline with his kicks today. As Samuel Grant lines this one up for the Northern Rivers, we want to thank our sponsors once more. SEL World Australia, Victor Sports and Bar TV. It's been a pleasure bringing this coverage here to you here from Sawtell and across all the other matches across this tournament. And it's just going to go wide and it will remain 64 points to 12 in favour of Northern Rivers. They should have at least one opportunity to try and notch 70. And it looking like they will face the Monaro Colts in next week's final. I think Northern Rivers. And that's it. That's game, set and match, and in the books here in Sawtell. Northern Rivers taking it home comfortably here, 64 points to 12. They will go on to face like the Monaro Colts next week in the finals of the under-23s competition. In the earlier match, Central Coast defeated Greater Northern Tigers 30 points to 2. They'll go on to face the GRS West Tigers. That was just, well, you couldn't ask for a better performance by the Northern Rivers. And in fairness, the Mid-North Coast, they weren't exactly, the scoreline may suggest that as such, but they weren't exactly wiped off the park. Probably more discipline more than anything. But Northern Rivers really brought that one home, and they're one win away from taking out the under-23s title in the country Rugby League Championships for 2018. From Bar TV, everyone in the studio and everyone working at the ground staff here, I'm Dwayne Neville. It's a pleasure to bring in this coverage to you here from Sawtell. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you for next week at the finals in the Country League Championships for 2018. Have a good afternoon.